الله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear sisters in Islam. We're going to continue our lesson, and today I'm going to talk about the important personalities during the lifetime of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Medina. One of the important personality during the lifetime of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Medina was Sayyidina Abdullah bin Abbas. Sayyidina Abdullah, the first cousin of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, was born 3 years before the Hijrah, yani the migration from Mecca to Medina. He was a lucky lad who spent his formative years in the lap of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In fact, since he became 7 years of age, he kept close and constant companionship to the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He would prepare the water for his ablution, pray behind him, and even ride with him on his travels. Despite his very young age, he behaved like an adult with his intelligence keen clear in mind and heart. My dear sisters in Islam, during his lifetime, there was hardly anyone equal to him in knowledge of religious, literary, and historical matters. To quench his insatiable hunger for learning, he used to visit every person, place, and corner, saying people should go to knowledge, not knowledge come to people. It was because of his keen intelligence, constant questioning, and alert observation that he earned the title of the scholar of the community of Islam. It would not be an exaggeration if we say that he was a mobile school or university of his time. So people used to come to him in hundreds to seek clarification on different questions pertaining to the Holy Quran, Sunnah, and history, and he would do his best to make things easier for everyone around. So it was not mere knowledge that he was reputed for. What is more important is that at the same time, he was a practicing teacher whose manners and actions were in total consonance with his knowledge and teaching. So, uh, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas was a very pious, noble, and a generous person, the one who was always very keen to help the needy and the poor. Despite his young age, the righteous caliphs, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Uthman, Ali, and Umar radiallahu anhum, consulted him quite frequently and gave more weight to his opinions and views than the ones expressed by older men. So Sayyidina Hazrat or Sayyidina Abu Abdullah ibn Abbas, the epitome of knowledge, grace, and piety, died in Taif at the age of 71. The second important personality during the lifetime of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina was Abdullah bin Umar. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar was barely 10 years old when he accompanied Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, his father, in his migration to Medina in the first year of Hijrah. From that date onwards, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar was never known to have strayed from the path he had accepted for himself. So the footsteps of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Aisha radiallahu anhu is reported to have said, no one followed in the footsteps of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as closely as did Ibn Umar. So he was not allowed to take part in the battles of Badr and Uhud because of young age, but subsequently from the Battle of the Ditch onwards, he actively participated in all campaigns. He was very pious, God-fearing, and and meticulously and careful in observing Sunnah. So this spirit of Ibn Umar made him hesitant to report any saying of the Holy Prophet ﷺ until he was absolutely sure of remembering it down to the letter. He was equally cautious and careful in giving fatwas, any religious verdicts, because of his very strict adherence to Sunnah. He was very generous and magnanimous. So he's known to have released 1,000 slaves, including Sayyidina Nafi, the well-known narrator of hadiths. My dear sisters in Islam. So Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Omar used himself to say, when you survive till the evening, do not expect to live till the morning. And when you survive till the morning, do not expect to live until the evening. While in good health, do good deeds before you fall sick. And while you are alive, do good deeds before death strikes. So in the narration of hadiths 1630, he falls immediately next to Sayyidina Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, although he has been held as an authority on juridical and other connected religious matters. My dear sisters in Islam, the third personality during the lifetime of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Sayyidina Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu. He belonged to the Khazraj tribe of Ansar at Medina and was one of those who embraced Islam at the second pledge of Aqaba. He had the privilege and honor of hosting the Prophet ﷺ himself when he came to Medina after migration from Mecca. He actively participated also in all the major campaigns, both in the lifetime of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and after his death during the period of the four rightly guided caliphs. He was also, my dear sisters, the witness to the fall of Egypt at the hands of Sayyidina Ammar bin As, under whose command he fought this battle against the Romans. So during the period of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu caliphate, he remained governor of Medina. So during the rule of Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah, he took part in the expedition which was sent to capture Constantinople, the capital of Byzantine Empire. So when he was on the deathbed, after suffering serious wounds in the fight, he expressed the wish that he be buried near the walls of the seat of the Eastern Roman Empire. Although his wish could not come true at that time, it did materialize when the city of Constantinople, which is now called Istanbul, was conquered by the Ottomans under the command of their ruler Sultan Muhammad in 1452 AD. My dear sisters in Islam, another personality, important personality during the period of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or during the lifetime of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Medina, was Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. He converted to Islam in the year 7 AH after Hijrah. And was an outstanding figure among the Ahl Sufa. He alone was responsible from the preservation and transmission of about 2,000 hadiths. This is all the more interesting because he had the honor of accompanying the Prophet ﷺ for 4 years only. How can this unique phenomenon be explained? The answer lies in two special features of his personality. Spectacularly unique extent that he had left his company except at night, which Sayyidina Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu could afford, since up till Then he had no wife and children or the wealth to worry about. So he took upon himself the job of teaching everything he knew to others, besides encouraging to learn in general. On his persistent persuasion, his mother converted to Islam, although in the beginning she was too hostile and adamant in the rejection of faith. So, besides his love for knowledge and learning and exceptionally strong memory, he was also known for his humility, generosity, and piety. Although he was later appointed governor of Bahrain and Medina by different caliphs, his humility and piety never left him. After the death of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he regularly gave lessons from Masjid nabawi and he died in the year 57 AH. Although he was held in very high esteem by the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his companions. So another important personality during the lifetime of Prophet ﷺ in Medina was Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He embraced Islam with other members of his tribe in Yemen and then migrated to Medina. He took part in the Battle of Hunain, which was fought between the forces of Hawazin and Saqif and the Muslims. So during the period of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he continued to retain the position of governorship of Yemen, which was entrusted to him by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Umar appointed him as a governor of Kufa. He was one of the most committed, devoted, and dedicated companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, who held him in high esteem. His deep understanding of the Holy Quran and Hadiths was well known and appreciated all over. He is regarded as an authority on juridical matters. So he was one of the arbitrators who were appointed in 37 AH, in the year 37 AH, to resolve the dispute which had brought Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and Muawiyah to head-on collision. The attempt at arbitration failed because he was too simple and straightforward to gauge the shrewdness of the opposite camp. My dear sisters in Islam, another important personality during the period or the lifetime of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina was Abu Dhar al-Ghafari. My dear sisters in Islam, Abu Dhar was one of the very early converts to Islam between the 5th or 6th year of prophethood. He belonged to the Ghafar tribe, which was famous for being a gang of highway robbers. No sooner had he accepted Islam, he went to the Kaaba, and there, in front of all the enemies of Islam, he pronounced the declaration of the faith, which almost brought him death out of the beating he received. So the very next day, he again went to the Kaaba and started cursing the idols whom some people were worshipping. He was severely beaten again by the pagans, as a result of which he fainted there. On the advice of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he went back to his tribe and started preaching Islam first among them and afterwards to the neighboring tribe of Aslam. So both the tribes accepted Islam, visited Medina after the Battle of Trench to show allegiance to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and thereafter became a formidable force on the side of Muslims in all major encounters. So Abu Dhar radiallahu anhu was a champion of poor and a staunch opponent of wealth, uh, and show to which Muslims were fast getting acquainted after the annexation of rich Persian and Roman territories. So as many people were being endangered by the riches pouring in the Islamic empire, he kept reminding them of the verdict of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala contained in the Holy Quran, chapter 9, verse 34 to 35. Those who hoard up gold and silver and spend them not in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until yani, unto them give yani tidings of a painful tournament. This is the treasure which you hoarded for yourself. Now taste of what you used to hoard. My dear sisters in Islam, one of the first people to hear this warning was the governor of Syria, whom yani Sayyidina Abu Dhar advised to shun luxuries and live a life of simplicity. For fear of trouble and political uprising, the Caliph called yani Abu Dhar radiallahu anhu back to Medina. He settled at Rabda, a place few miles away from Medina, and died there without having even shrouds enough yani, to cover his blessed corpse. He was one of those 14 lucky persons whom Prophet ﷺ deemed as his very close friends. My dear sisters in Islam, another close, yani, important personality during the lifetime of Prophet ﷺ in Medina was Hamza. Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu. He was related to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in three ways. He was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's uncle, his foster brother, and also the son of his maternal aunt. He was known all over Mecca for his expertise and adeptness in the art of wrestling, hunting, archery, and swordsmanship. One day, when he returned from a hunting expedition and was informed that Abu Jahl had abused and insulted his nephew, yani the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was enraged to the extent that he immediately rushed yani to the Kaaba, yani pounced upon Abu Jahl and openly announced there and then his conversion to Islam. His acceptance of Islam enabled Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to preach it openly, which till then was almost a dream. So in the month of Ramadan of first Hijrah, he was deputed to lead a contingent of 30 Muhajirin to the shores of Red Sea to monitor the movement of Meccan trade caravans. He thus had the honor of being the first one to whom the banner of Islam was entrusted. In the Battle of Badr, he, along with Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and Sayyidina Ubaidah, participated in the customary opening round of fighting in which he killed Utbah bin Rabi'ah, a towering figure of the Quraysh. In the ensuing open battle also, his performance was simply outstanding, for he single-handedly killed many more pagans. In the Battle of Uhud, he was martyred at the hands of Wahshi, who had been specially deputed to accomplish this job by Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan, whose father was killed in the Battle of Badr by Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu. So Hind cut out the liver from his dead body and tried to chew it to ventilate yani, her anger and contempt for Sayyidina Hamza. So Wahshi is the same person who, after his conversion to Islam, participated in the wars of apostasy and was instrumental in the killing of Musaylama the liar, who had declared himself a prophet. Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu was buried by the side of Uhud mountain, and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself conferred the title of Chief of the Martyrs on him. My dear sisters in Islam, another strong personality uh, during the period of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina was Amr bin al-As, Sayyidina Amr bin al-As. Some people informed Khalif Umar bin Khattab that the Roman soldiers were under the command of Atibun, yani a man of great cunning and courage. The Khalif answered, Sayyidina Umar answered, we have appointed our own Arab yani Atibun to face the Roman Atibun. Let us see how things turn out. So the man referred to by the Khalif Umar bin Khattab was no other than Sayyidina Amr bin al-As, who was a real genius on matters of war and politics. He was born about 47 years before the Hijrah. He and his father both were the active antagonists of Islam and the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, he came on his own to Medina to announce his conversion to Islam. Due to his intelligence, loyalty to the faith, along with many other qualities, he was sent to Oman by the Holy Prophet ﷺ upon the acceptance of Islam by the people there. He effectively participated in the war against the wave of apostasy which erupted in Arabian Peninsula immediately after the death of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was a commander of the force which fought yani, the tribes of Qudda and Al-Haris in Tabuk and Daumantil Jandal. So he was responsible for the defeat of Romans in the Syrian region and the liberation of Palestinians from the clutches of the Byzantines. The keys of this city were personally received by the Caliph, yani Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, from its yani patriarch. So during the period of Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, Egypt too was liberated by Sayyidina Amr bin al-As from the Roman control after 6 centuries of colonization. So during the rift between Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and Sayyidina Muawiyah, he sided with the latter. He died in Egypt in the year 51 AH. The Holy Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said about him, Amr is among the best people of the Quraysh. This hadith is reported by At-Tirmidhi. So the other important personality during the period of Prophet ﷺ was Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu. He belonged to the tribe of Khazraj and was born 10 years before the Holy Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina. He belonged to an eminent yani family in which most of the people converted to Islam quite early in time. So when the Holy Prophet ﷺ settled in Medina, he took Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu under his care. Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu was almost always in the company of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing different jobs for him. So except the Battle of Badr when he was too young, he participated in all other major encounters, rendering valuable yani services to the cause of Islam. During the period of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was the governor of Bahrain, while the second Caliph Omar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu deputed him to Basra to educate people there who had recently converted to Islam. He is the narrator of many ahadiths and is held in high esteem by the Muslim scholars. He was a very pious, noble, humble, and devoted person all through his life. So among the companions of the whole Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the last one to have died in the year 93 AH. Shukran Jazila. We are going to continue with this topic on the second part of it about the important personalities during the lifetime of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shukran Jazila wa barakallahu fikum.